Today's update features some major quality of life updates and some buffs to boss drops. While I have been infected by the well-known virus, I will try my best to cover the most important changes. So whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Virago's boss encounter has been smoothed out and many of the time-gated mechanics have been sped up or changed. I believe it's also now possible to solo Virago fully, as you can jump the gap in the first phase without needing Virago to be facing away from them. This also makes Virago easier in groups. Raksha's targeting mechanics have been changed and it will now attack the player who starts the encounter fully. The rockfall damage area of effect has been reduced to 5x5 instead of 7x7. This will make it easier to avoid the rocks. In phase 4 you should be able to absorb the shadow anima more easily and you shouldn't be getting blocked or stuck from certain tiles anymore. Both Queen Black Dragon and Nyx have had their intro animation or cutscene reduced in length, which is something I recently talked about in my worst boss mechanics video. When using a boss portal to get to Tezcal Zuk, you can now attune your arrival point to spawn right in front of Zuk himself. The unique items in Elite Dungeons have received a drop rate buff. In Elite Dungeon 1, Ancient Skills will now drop from Seiryu at 50% and 33% of the solo rates in duo and trio mode respectively per player. This would mean that if you're able to do the dungeon twice as fast duo as if you're doing it solo, you should be making the same amount of money as solos. In Elite Dungeon 2, Draconic Energy will work the exact same way as Ancient Skills, meaning that the duo and trio GP per hour rates should be buffed. The great ability codices will not be buffed in duos and trios, but in solos you will have 20% more chance of receiving a great ability codex. Elite Dungeon 3 is the opposite, where the solo drop rate has not been changed, but the duo and trio drop rates have been buffed. In duos, you now have a 50% higher chance of receiving ECB pieces. In trios, it's almost 58% higher than what it was previously. Smoke Tendrils has been changed to where it will always give you a critical strike even without buffs, and it is now affected by more invention perks. It will, however, no longer provide extra adrenaline twice per hit when using Tsunami's buffs. The Impatient invention perk will now work with the following abilities: Slice, Piercing Shot, Rack, and Ruin. You will no longer enter the combat stance when using Surge, Escape, and Bladed Dive, given that you aren't draining adrenaline, as if you are, you will still enter the combat stance. If you are in combat and you use these abilities, you will also still remain in combat, allowing you to stall adrenaline if you want to. Herblore bombs now work far better and have their max throwing range increased to 10 tiles. You're able to add these to your action bar and choose between the throw and use option. With the throw option, you're able to throw the bomb automatically by pressing the keybind on your active target. This is amazing. Boss timers now include milliseconds, which is great for speed kills and tracking the personal bests of a single player. You can now make your adrenaline bar more precise as well, showing decimal values inside your action bar settings. The Elite Dungeon and Croesus reward chest have had their capacity increased to 48 item slots. A very much needed change. And a very important change is that soul rune production has been tripled, but the speed remains unaffected. This means you should be able to make triple the amount of runes per hour, which is probably like 12 to 1500 runes per hour at the soul altar. With that being said, we've covered the most important changes of this week's update. If you want the full list, be sure to check out the patch notes on the official Runescape website, linked in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below as well, and maybe even consider subscribing. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.